Welcome back, guys, to the channel. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and I am here in the studio here at the AJ Show studio. And, right now I figured I'd do a live stream, see if anybody is down to talk about, the playoffs. It's been pretty crazy, but it's been also kind of expected based on just my predictions so far. Looking like I'm going to be 5-0. Because as of right now, I'm looking, and the Saints are up 21-3. This game's over, so that means that we have an idea of what the NFC is going to be. Right now, we're looking at the New Orleans Saints are going to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers again. They have absolutely dominated Tampa Bay this season. The Rams are looking at playing the Green Bay Packers, and that's your Final Four in the NFC. We won't know entirely about the AFC until tonight's game with the Steelers and Browns, but it's something I'm definitely looking forward to seeing. I do think the Steelers win the game, and I think the Steelers could be a threat as long as they let Big Ben air it out. But at the end of the day, you're looking at the Steelers win, they're going to play the Buffalo Bills, and the Ravens are going to play Kansas City. So it's a very interesting bunch of matchups there. For those of you who have any questions, comments, concerns, just drop them below. I'll try to answer and get to them the best I can. This is almost in a sense like a test. We basically hooked everything up here, and but I also want to talk about just everything that's going on with the wild card, basically we're looking at a really interesting matchup between the Rams and Packers. And I know the majority of my subscribers are Rams fans, so to go up against Aaron Rodgers, who I believe is the greatest quarterback of all time, to go up against him, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park. And I do think that the Rams can win that game, but I also think that the Packers could win out and win the Super Bowl. So it's a really interesting thing there. On the other side, you have the Buccaneers, who are playing pretty hot right now, but also had an opportunity to lose to Taylor Heineke and that 7-9 Washington football team. They are also going to New Orleans, and again, they haven't played them well. So I'm not going to make any predictions or anything like that, but what I will say is that it is very interesting that, when you look at, the NFL right now, we have our Final Four in each conference after tonight's game, and it is weird how the playoffs, it's big, but then it starts to really, come together and get a lot smaller. So just, really looking forward to, seeing how things play out. Whether it's going to be Jared Goff or John Wolford is kind of up in the air. I'm not really sure. I do know that Aaron Rodgers is going to end up playing, obviously, for the Packers. The Packers defense has looked good as of late. I think they're starting to get things together, so they should be a scary team coming off a bye. Or, they could come out flat because of the bye. But it is going to be in Lambeau. They do have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And then for Kansas City, same difference. Although their defense, I don't think, got better. They didn't get, a lot like Green Bay. But, obviously they can put up the points that, are necessary. And I think, when you look at the AFC, there's a huge thing here where the NFC, you don't really know who the top dog is. You don't even know who's good and who's bad, because right now, I don't trust the Saints. The Rams defense can win them any game, but you do have question marks at quarterback. And then the Packers, they're playing well, but aside from that, like Tampa Bay, I just don't think there's a clear-cut dog in the fight. And I've said this for a while. I do not think that there is a clear-cut 100% number one team in this league this year. It's very weird. I know a lot of people would gravitate towards Kansas City. I wouldn't be shocked personally if Lamar Jackson and company go to Kansas City and win. I think the Ravens are one of the toughest teams right now, and not a team you want to play. I don't think anybody wants to play the Rams defense. I don't think anybody wants to play Aaron Rodgers. I don't think many people want to play Josh Allen, but I will say, Josh Allen against the Colts seemed beatable, and they could have won that game. At the end of the day, the Colts had an opportunity. So you see all sorts of things go on in the postseason when things start to matter, and it's definitely all very interesting for sure. Just real quick, I wanted to let you guys know, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the AJ Show. Adam and I are doing, as much as we can. We actually leased an office, which I'm in right now, kind of our studio. And we're going to be coming to you live from YouTube and all platforms, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time every single Saturday. You worry about the NFL season being over? No worries. We'll still be covering the NFL draft. We look forward to having a draft live stream during that. So it should all be very, very interesting. I'm really just impressed by just the amount of people that have subscribed to this channel, the comments, people digging my Star Wars stuff. So I do appreciate it and I do see it. I can't stress that enough. It is cool to have that. But this is just the start. I started this about a month ago, and at the end of the day, I feel really good about this moving forward. I don't know what the future holds as far as this YouTube channel, but I'm trying my best to make this as good as it can for you guys. This isn't going to be a long time thing. I'm not going to be doing a ton of live streams or anything like that, but I definitely wanted to give it a shot and see if maybe it was the right thing to do. I see there's 24 people watching right now. So clearly there's something going on. Also, the chat wasn't working, guys. I'm so sorry. The chat just came up and I have all these people. I'm like, where is everybody? I'm not answering anybody because there's nobody here. And now all of a sudden this chat comes up. Keyboard noises. Okay, guys. All right. Let's take it from the top here. Adrian says Jake in all caps. What's up, Adrian? Thank you so much for joining. Joe Lewis, what's up, Ramley? What's up, my man? Rams House, how's it going? Curtis Green, yeah. Horns up, big W's. Keyboard noises is another ASMR. Oh, interesting. So you've watched Alexis Craft's ASMR videos. That is funny. Going good, watching the Saints blow out the Bears. What's good, big dog, Mob Squad? If you heard that, that's my router. I don't know why it beeps at me. That could be an issue down the line. We'll see. I'm with a baseball bat. Just kidding, of course. Let's see here. How do you think we'll do against the Packers? I think the Rams will do pretty well. I think they could win that game. I'm not sold on the Rams winning yet. I'm not sold on the Packers winning yet. I'm going to have to go back, watch the film, which, by the way, for all of you amazing people, when I go back and watch the film, I'm considering two things. But bottom line is you are going to get a breakdown. You're going to get a film breakdown one way or another. So we're going to do a film breakdown video, but I'm either going to go live so you all can watch with me, ask questions, things like that, or I'm just going to record it. But either way, you guys will get a film breakdown video. And since I started this towards the end of this season, we'll be doing that all next season. I promise you, all next season for my Rams subscribers. And eventually maybe the whole NFL we'll start doing. But just wanted to let you guys know that. Thank you for the hat compliment, Henry Ford. What's up, Rich? Let's see here. Has the Packers faced any defense at our caliber? Well, Tampa, I thought, gave them some fits. So, they have. I do believe they played the Saints. So, yeah, I would say so. I think so. I think the Rams are the best defense in the league. So to say the same caliber, maybe not. But, they face decent defenses for sure. Bucks will beat Saints. I don't know. I think that's going to be tough. Henry Ford, don't understand why JG can't put on some gloves like Peyton Manning. I don't know if I want him putting on gloves, to be honest with you. I think he's only done it once, and it was against the Patriots, and it was in New England, and that game just was bad. He didn't wear gloves, I don't think, in the Giants game where they scored 51 points. I was actually at that game. So I don't know. I'll go without the gloves as long as it means success. Playoffs. Packers game with crowd. I think there could be a crowd. I'm not really sure. Saints are garbage. I wouldn't say they're garbage, but I see, your concern there with them. How good is the Packers defense? Well, Darius, great question. The Packers defense has a great defensive coordinator. Somebody that has kind of lost his way a little bit this year. I'm not going to lie. I'm very, very big fan of him and Mike Pettin. If you remember the name, he was a former head coach for the Browns. And then he was also with the Bills beforehand. He was the defense coordinator for the Bills. So this is somebody that is really aggressive. He and is as well as everybody in that organization has really gone out and sculpted a nice defense on film. When you look at it, they have right off the bat, you go out and you get Preston Smith, you get Zadarius Smith. So you get the Smith twins, although they're not really related. But you get them in free agency. You add them. You draft a guy like Jair Alexander in the same draft. You get Josh Jackson. You have Kevin King. They have all sorts of guys. They still have Adrian Amos, who they got from their rival Chicago Bears. That defense is very stacked. I mean, Kenny Clark as well. I really like what they've put together. Now they let Blake Martinez go, as you saw. He had a whale of a season for the Giants. Sorry. So I think that'll be interesting there. Do you pick on the linebackers? That could be an option. But aside from that, they have talent. And they drafted Rashawn Gary, who I think is starting to come into his own a little bit. So it's definitely an interesting thing. But Darius, I would say the Packers defense on paper has a chance to beat anybody, and I think this year it's kind of been up and down, but I feel like towards the end of the year they started really finding their stride. They could be a tough game for sure for the Rams. Rams versus Packers next week. Yep, that's going to be that. Does anyone know about Donald? So he doesn't have, from what I've seen, he doesn't have anything wrong. I mean, the x-rays came back negative. Yep, Don just put that. So, I mean, I think it's apparently, he's going to be okay. I think there's something weird that happened in that game. I can say that Cooper Kupp is going to be okay. He had a knee contusion, which means he's going to play. He's a football player. He's going to play. Let's see here. AD should be fine. Wow. Great news. It must be a bad bruise then. What is your score prediction? Fight on. I don't know if I can give a score prediction right now because I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I really need to watch the film. But if you insist, I'll just say right now, without giving a winner, and take this for how you will, this is probably a game in which Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be in, but I'm having 24-13. So no winner, but 24-13. Let's see. Enjoyed the last breakdown you did. Hey, I appreciate that, Eric. No way Brees scored that touchdown. Okay, I guess that was just reversed. I'm not watching right now, so I couldn't tell you. Packers can't stop the run. They've gotten better, Declan, but I know what you're talking about. They did struggle for a minute stopping the run. Not a TD. He was like, it was... We need break... let's not break Rodgers' arm. I'm a big fan of Rodgers. I mean, you can beat Rodgers without hurting him. I'll just say that. Hopefully, John Wolford will be starting. Trust me, Goff won't be. So here's my take on that, since the majority of you lovely people are Rams fans. John Wolford, in my heart, I want him to start. My head is telling me Jared Goff should start. I don't know how it went down with John Wolford. I understand a lot of that was, just to be safe than sorry. But at the same time, I didn't like how his neck looked like it got compressed. And at the same time, I kind of feel like Goff came in and they rallied around Jared Goff. And I think next week he'll be better. His handle or his thumb will look better. I think Wolford does more, but I was so keen on the fact that I feel like Seahawks defense puts on so much pressure that Goff was going to have a hard time going up against it. But he made a really nice, dare I say, Wolford-like play where he was running out and then he flipped it over to Cam Akers, and arguably one of the most underrated plays of the game, where he ran for 44 yards, run after the catch. That was huge. That was Jared Goff. So, I don't change my mind. I still think there's two starting quarterbacks on this roster. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But at the end of the day, I look at it and I'm like, I don't know if I would necessarily throw Wolford back out there when it looks like there was a chance he might not play the rest of the year. I thought he broke his jaw or hurt his neck. I would stay away from starting him. and probably go with Goff unless it really starts to get bad. Also, I'll say this. I know a lot of people were saying, what about Blake Bortles? It's nothing against Bortles, but Bryce Perkins' mobility would make me go to him. I would go to Bryce Perkins because I think he could really run all over any defense. He's very, very talented. So I think I would use him for that reason. We need to start Wolford. Think Kaepernick versus Green Bay playoffs. Yeah, I mean, I do remember that. Do you think that Wolford hit was a penalty? Yeah, Don, great question. I do. So here's the thing, guys. I understand there's football heads out there that, they would call it soft, right? At the end of the day, it's a penalty. Player safety comes first. This isn't like a holding call, okay? This is to protect a player. The fact that the officiating crew threw a flag and then picked it up after you see John Wolford sitting there in pain. He's laying down in pain. I thought it was ridiculous. I really do. And I'm sorry to any Seahawks fans that are, Adam, amazing set. All those Seahawks fans that do follow me, I don't know how many of you do, and I'm sorry, but I really felt like there were a few hits in that game that were just very dirty. And I'm sure there are a few hits from the Rams that were very dirty that I didn't pick up on. Maybe, it's just a fan thing. But, I mean, I saw one after, I think it was, I don't even know, Juju Hughes. He was getting his face punched in. I mean, the hit on Adams, I get, it's a fast play, but it doesn't mean because he didn't mean to do it, it doesn't mean that it's not a penalty. Wolford's already down at that point, and you're launching. And so, in college, you would have gotten kicked out of the game. But we won't get into how ridiculous college, the college game is with targeting. So, but let's see here. Got to catch up with you people. Okay. Packers are my second favorite team. The Rams are and will always be number one. Yeah, I don't want to say I'm a fan of the Packers per se, but Rodgers is my favorite or one of my favorite players that's not a Ram, and I do like the Packers. I respect them. They also have Matt LaFleur, who that's an interesting dynamic. A former Rams coach is going up against Sean McVay, so a guy from his coaching tree. So that'll be definitely interesting. Will it be similar to Rams Packers 2018? I was at that game. That was very, very fun. Will it be similar? It could be, although I feel like in that game the offense was moving the ball more. I don't know if the offense will move the ball that well. If they do, they win, bottom line. I think can't have more than one team go somewhere with that. Sorry. I don't really know what that means. Can't have one team go somewhere with that. Should be kicked out of game. I do agree. Okay, so what I'll say on the Adams front is that Adams is hitting shoulder to the helmet. That to me is why I wouldn't kick him out of the game. I wouldn't kick him out of the game. What I would do is I'd give a 15-yard penalty, but I'm not going to kick him out of the game for shoulder to helmet. I'll kick him out of the game for helmet to helmet, but he did have the wherewithal to change, in mid-flight, kind of change where he was going to hit. So, that's kind of where I stand on that. Let's see. Goff can't play in cold weather. Chad, I'll tell you this. I was at the Rams-Giants game. It was pouring. It's one of the coldest days of my life, and they dropped 51 points. So I don't know what Goff can and can't do. It's very unknown. I don't think Goff is the one quarterback that's probably the most unpredictable I've ever watched because he could have a great game or a poor game. I mean, it's really – and the thing is, when he has a poor game, it's not even a bad game. It's just, a few bad plays that make it really balloon. Let's see here. In Green Bay, cold weather, it should be Wolford, not Goff. He sucks in cold. Well, I kind of like what I was just saying to Chad. Goff has had some solid cold weather games. So I can't say he's consistently sucked that. Goff threw that bomb that was 100 miles short. I don't know what that means. Yeah, Adam, I am I had the Ethernet hooked up. I'm glad to hear that the stream is running smoothly. This was definitely more of a test stream, but I've never done a stream on this YouTube channel, and I've 47 people watching now with literally no. I didn't tell anybody I was doing this. I just did spur of the moment, and you guys are just so awesome that you just jumped right in. So we're having some fun here. Let's see. No one plays their best in cold weather. No, I agree with that. Who's your favorite player that's a Ram? Good question, Jonah. Right now, it's tough. I'll probably... I love Robert Woods. Met him, hung out with him. I love Darrell Henderson. I love Akers. Cup. I love Higgs. I met Higgs. I met Everett. There's so many. Donald, obviously. Darius Williams, Jalen. That's just such a tough question for me. Terrell Burgess, I have a really soft spot for because he was on our podcast before he was drafted to the Rams. Those of you who don't know, I actually am the co-host of the Downtown Rams podcast. So if you like the Rams, be sure to subscribe to the Downtown Rams podcast. But yeah, for me, Terrell Burgess came on our show when he was at Utah, coming out in the draft. So he wasn't even a Ram yet, came on our show. Then after he was drafted by the Rams, he came back on our show. And we had, a great time on Zoom. You can actually find that interview right on my channel. It's under the Other Projects playlist. But yeah, I like him a lot. That's a tough question. I think my favorite player at the end of the day is probably Robert Woods, just because... when I met him in Los Angeles at this business event and hung out with him, and then when I was talking to him and he knew who I was, it just was so surreal. So I think that's how I would answer your question, Jonah. It would be Robert Woods. Henry Ford, McVay was robbed of back-to-back Coach of the Year in 17 and 18. Nagy sucks. Yeah, people saying Matt Nagy is the next Sean McVay. This is a 21-9 end of game. Sean McVay's not doing that. Bottom line, you could say what you will about the Super Bowl, but this is a wild card game, and you have all those weapons, and the offense is just anemic beyond belief. So, I don't know. I don't think Matt Nagy's very good. I would move on from him tomorrow, but that's just me. Miami Grinch, has the Rams linebacker core surpassed expectations? So here's an interesting thing about the Rams linebacker group. You did see Micah Kiser, who got the fumble recovery on special teams. Troy Reeder and Kenny Young have both surpassed him on defense. I don't know if that'll change, maybe another week through practice and they bring him back, but I've been really impressed with a guy like Troy Reeder, Delaware, UDFA. Obviously he did start at Penn State, then he went over to the Delaware to play at the same school as his brother. This is somebody that came in first year as a UDFA, made the roster, was asked to play 8 games as a starter because of Micah Kiser being out. And, he is really impressing coaches, and he's cheap, on a team where, you're salary cap strapped. You sign Jalen Ramsey long term, you sign Cooper Kupp, you sign Robert Woods, Jared Goff, Aaron Donald, Rob Havenstein, Tyler Higbee. You're going to have to find those guys in between, and they may not be, the sexy picks for your linebacker group, but at the end of the day, they're the right picks. That's how you're going to do things. So I really was impressed with their ability to find Troy Reeder in undrafted free agency. We had him on the show, great guy. And then Kenny Young. You want to talk about a throw for the Marcus Peters deal. Kenny Young's not just a throw-in. This is a guy that they have, a few years of control with. And again, going back to a salary cap strapped team, it's very key to have guys like that. So, yeah, I think that they've done well. I don't think that they're superstars, and they'll never be superstars due to physical limitations, but they don't have to be. And at the end of the day, Brandon Staley masks their weaknesses so well, it doesn't even affect them. So, I've just been really impressed, with the linebacker group. You can't have the number one defense in the league by just having a defensive line or just a secondary. It doesn't work that way. And everybody, it's been all hands on deck. I've just been thoroughly impressed, especially with guys like, Greg Gaines gets an opportunity to step up yesterday when Aaron Donald goes down. And you didn't even see, I'm not going to say you didn't see a difference because Aaron Donald's special, but Greg Gaines more. He was phenomenal. Morgan Fox has been great. Leonard Floyd stepping up the way he did. Sebastian Joseph Day, Michael Brockers, and then seeing Obanai Okoronkwo come in there after we haven't really seen him consistently. He comes in, he has a solid game. Samson Ibukam with the strip, special teams, and then you have guys like Justin Hall and Derek Rivers. I mean, this is a very, very good defense. Very similar. Reminds me, especially with the two Hall of Famers and Ramsey and Donald to be. It reminds me of a Brian Billick Ravens defense. So, and then what happened with that. So Troy Reeder should continue to start. Oh boy, it just uploaded. All right, let's see here. Troy Reeder should continue to start. There we are. What chance would you give the Rams to beat the Packers? I mean, they can beat the Packers. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams dominate Green Bay's offense. Wouldn't be surprised if the Green Bay's offense is finally the offense that breaks through the Rams' defense. So, I mean, they have a chance, absolutely. They have a pretty big chance of winning. It's not going to be easy, though. They didn't play well at the Bears with cold weather. I mean, they dominated that game. Are you talking about the 2018 game? That's different. That was way different. That was less about the cold weather and more of the fact Vic Fangio was the first of any defensive coordinator to really figure out how to stop Sean McVay's offense. Could John fit in if rain? I mean, John Wolford could absolutely play in this game. I'm not ruling it out. And I would actually like to see him get opportunities. But I just think it's hard to go from Goff after you win that playoff game the way you want it. I mean, literally all hands on deck win against your rival that you watch celebrate a division title only because they beat you on their field. And then you go back to their field and you beat them the way you did. 30-20. I don't care. That game was way more of a blowout than it looked. The Rams absolutely dominated them in all three phases with a guy that had a mangled thumb versus a guy that some people call the greatest quarterback in the league right now in Russell Wilson. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's see. What's your take on the possibility of getting Watson? You guys know I would love Deshaun Watson. I'm not going to turn him down, and I'm not looking at Jared Goff's under 200-yard performance with a broken thumb and saying, wow, we have our franchise quarterback and it's done deal. But what I will say is that I don't know if the Rams will be able to offer as much as other teams with Deshaun Watson, so it's definitely an interesting thing there. If the Rams can offer it, I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I showed you how they can do it. Jared Goff would be $22 million cap penalty as long as it's done after June 1st. But I don't know. I'm kind of in the boat of if Watson's available, you kind of have to at least try to grab him just because he's such a special talent and he's only 25 and he's signed through 2026. But that's just me. If I don't think you're wrong if you think the Rams should stick with Goff. I don't think you're wrong if you think the Rams should give Wolford a try at all. Let's see here. Adam, my man. Everyone go follow Adam Steele. Even if you, I understand, he's a Steelers YouTube channel, but he's my co-host on the AJ Show, and he puts out great NFL content. He did a great video. I believe it was on DK Metcalf. I want to say it was on DK Metcalf. No, it was on Chase Claypool, comparing him to, I think it was Megatron. I could be wrong. But it was just a really good video, and he does NFL stuff, so definitely check him out. He's killing it over at that channel for sure. I think we can beat the Packers, take Akers away. Running game, defense plays in cold weather. Goff plays well in big games. What do you think about rotating quarterbacks like the Saints do? I think that would be a good look. So that's an interesting thought, and I've seen that mentioned. I don't know if you 100% do, because when I look at it, don't get me wrong, they absolutely could do that, but it's really important to keep a quarterback, in rhythm. And I think Jared Goff is fragile, where if you were to do that, I think it would hurt Jared Goff. I think this is a rhythm passer that really, he's very similar to Cam Newton. When you get Cam Newton, six or seven completions in a row, that's when you start to see the old Cam Newton emerge. But when he's not completing his passes it's hard for him to get into a rhythm. There are other quarterbacks that literally are just so sporadic that it just, it's all over the place. Goff is not a quarterback I would necessarily go with 2 quarterbacks in a game. He would have to start for me, personally. Let's see here. Rams got to run the ball effectively. Guys up front got to have a great game if they're going to win in Green Bay. No, I absolutely agree with that. I think it starts with the run. I think, same game plan. Don't let your quarterbacks do too much, regardless if it's Goff or Wolford or Bortles or Perkins. You really, at the end of the day, want to use Cam Akers. He was, by all means, one of the main reasons they won that game against Seattle, because his running really saved the offense. And the offense was able to sustain longer drives because of him. And because of that, they were able to follow their game plan and ultimately the formula of a Sean McVay football team. Defense holds on. They stay on the sidelines. Offense holds on to long drives regardless. As long as it comes out with 3 points, you have a chance to win. You're keeping your number 1 defense on the sideline to rest. And so I thought that was really huge. They won the time of possession. Wasn't as easy because they had so many things to overcome, but they did it. So I think overcoming the stuff in that game, and I'm not trying to say Seattle's like the best team in the league or anything, but just the way they won really gives you hope that they can win any game. And I think people already knew that. Good question. I don't know when Taylor Rapp is going to be activated. I've been asking around, see if I can find out. Still nothing. I don't know if he will. I really don't know what's going on with him. Very, very weird thing there. Why do you think they dropped Ja'Kai Polite to the practice squad? Thought he was playing well with snaps he was given. Yeah, I thought so as well. I think at the end of the day, it was it's not favoritism because I think Hollins was playing well, but he has that familiarity with Brandon Staley. So at the end of the day, when you look at your roster and you're trying to decide, they bring in Derek Rivers, a guy that they liked a lot. And I feel like Derek Rivers is somebody who's, obviously more of a veteran than him. He's been in the league a little bit longer, and they liked him moving forward with his experience more than having Ja'Kai Polite. So I think Ja'Kai Polite is still, showing you that, look, he had, a few really awesome snaps earlier in the year. I thought he played well when, his number was called, but you saw the snap count kind of go down a little bit. I think this is somebody, it's a classic example of a guy they want to keep around, they want to keep in the building. They were very happy they were able to retain him after cutting him, put him on the practice squad. So you just build him up and see what you get. But I think this year they're just more comfortable with having, a little bit more, seniority, a little bit more depth, because here's the thing. This is the 3rd youngest team in the NFL, which by virtue would make them the youngest team in the NFL that's remaining in the playoffs. So you want to have any sort of those veterans as you can in that locker room. I think that's what it came down to. Do you think Henderson will be available for championship weekend? Great question. I mean, Henderson, look, they put him on IR in week 16. Week 17. So he misses week 17. He misses this game. And then if he misses, he's going to miss Green Bay. That's 3 weeks on IR. He can come back if they make the NFC Championship game. I'd imagine they'd be trying to get him back, but you don't want to rush him too much. I will say this, okay? He had the high ankle sprain. Cam Akers had the high ankle sprain. Cam Akers never was placed on IR. He came back 2 weeks later. Henderson, I think they're being cautious with. I also think they wanted to kind of postpone their roster. Because here's the thing. Once they take Henderson off IR, they have to make a roster move. And with, guys like Whitworth coming back, you have to cut a guy. And so they were able to get away with it because, somebody like, say, Kai Forbath got hurt. But that won't always happen. And Raymond Calais, their running back, they claimed from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of Louisiana Lafayette. He's on the IR. So it opened up a spot. So it's going to be interesting. If they have a spot, if they feel like they can easily make that move, then yes, Darrell Henderson will be back, I think, for the NFC title game. But we'll see. Definitely hoping he'll be back for the NFC title game, though. He's very special. Don't forget, as great as Akers is, Henderson was my number 1 running back in that draft. And when Henderson's on, he's on. I mean, when he got injured, the Rams felt like they had no chance at beating Seattle. So if he doesn't get tackled there by Jamal Adams, the game's completely different, just to keep that in mind. Let's see here. Oh, we're updating really fast. I've been hung up. Wow, you guys are awesome. 74 watching right now. Psh. Yo, shout out to that downvote guy. I need a downvote to kind of, it's kind of weird, when you have so many thumbs up and then you got a down. You only have one down vote or a zero down vote. Like you gotta have at least like I don't know. I have OCD. Like I need to keep it under 10 down votes maybe. But like if I get to like 100, like thumbs up and then like 10 down, like 9 down votes or whatever. Yeah, there we go. 2 down votes. Like awesome. I'm totally kidding, by the way, but it is what it is. Let's see here. I like the way Reader moves to the ball. In your opinion, non-biased, do the Rams have the best defense overall? Well, I mean, non-biased, yes. It's not really a homer thing. They statistically have the best defense in all of football. It's in every single statistic. They are the best defense in football. They give up the fewest yards and the fewest points. So, I mean, they're just phenomenal. And the sacks they have and the turnovers, they don't lead the league in turnovers, but they don't have to. They're the best. They really are. Let's see. Still would like to have a burner in receiving corps to take top off. I mean, I think it would definitely change things for sure if they had a guy that could stretch the field. But I also feel like they did have that and they let it go because Jared Goff wasn't, going to that guy or couldn't really hit the deep ball anymore. We'll see if Goff improves. I wonder if this really helps Goff. This injury, going through this going through this adversity. I wonder if this really helps him in the offseason. I'd love to see him work on his wrist action similar to what Aaron Rodgers did, and really make it so he can just like flick the ball and it goes. So that's what I'm hoping. Let's see here. More snap for Greg Gaines. I agree. Love the guy. Let's hear for Matt Gay. Yeah, if you guys saw the film breakdown, I was big on Matt Gay. Really impressed with what he's done, and he's been Mr. Money. We got the Packers, right? We do. I feel like the Rams will shut down the Packers. I think they could. I do think the Packers could also. I don't think the Packers defense will shut down the Rams. I'm worried about the Rams offense and seeing if they can play the way they did. Against Arizona or play the way they did against Seattle this past week, or I don't know. I think they'll win, but we'll see. It's all the marbles are. It's starting to come down to everything. You have your final 4 now sculpted in the NFC, so it's definitely interesting. Do you think obtaining Deshaun Watson is realistic? I don't know if it's realistic. I mean, it is. I think it's possible. I'm not going to say I would put money on it. I'm not really a betting man, so I wouldn't do that. But, let's see. I think Cam Akers should start being utilized more in checkdowns. I agree, Noah. I've been saying this. If you guys have been following the channel, you got to use Cam Akers more in the passing game. At the end of the day, that's what they did with Todd Gurley, and it worked out very well. Any word on AD99? It looks like all things checked out pretty well for him from what I've seen. So I would be shocked if he doesn't play against Green Bay. Let's see. It's not going to be as cold as Green Bay. It was 2018 Bears. I was there. It was -3 degrees. God. That's brutal. I think the coldest game I was ever at, no, the coldest day of my life, honestly, was the Buffalo game. The year Sam Bradford led the Rams down to score a touchdown. I think it was to Chris Givens. He got out the 1-yard line on an end around, and then he threw a touchdown to Brandon Gibson in the back of the end zone to beat Buffalo. And at that point, we thought playoff hopes were there. It didn't end up working that way. So let's see here. What's your take on if Sean gets to choose their future quarterback? I mean, see, if Sean McVay were to go out and decide who is going to play quarterback for the Rams for the foreseeable future, and he could have anybody, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked that they went after Watson. I think he does want a guy with mobility, but I almost think he just loves Jared Goff so much as a person, I don't know if he would move on from him. I don't know. I'm really uncertain with everything going on. Everything we knew, that game, and luckily it worked out in a win, but that game really kind of stifled everything that we thought we knew. Now we don't really know anything, right? We just don't. Let's see. The cold might help us. Non-biased. Do you believe the Rams have the best defense? I do. The Rams have the best defense, Jonah. Any word on AD and Kupp? Both are good. Kupp had a knee contusion. He will be back. They're both going to play for Green Bay. I'd be absolutely shocked if they sit out. I hope to get him. Good. How about Cup? Yep. Let's start. Prate in the chat. Do you think weather will hinder the Rams' defense? No, I think weather helps defenses more than it hurts them. That's personally me. I think it hurts the offense more than helps the offense. Great D and a good running game is perfect for Green Bay cold. They said Cup is looking positive, but not much else. Cool, thanks. We play Saturday 3:35. Now, Adnan, is that 3:35 Rams time, like West Coast, or actually I'll just look it up right now because that's interesting. I'm on a Saturday. I dig it. Let's see here. Green Bay, NFL divisional round. Okay, so 4:35 on Fox Eastern time. Packers Rams Saturday. And then we're going to see the Bills and Steelers. If the Steelers win, if the Browns win, then we'll see the Bills and Ravens. So, interesting. Very interesting. It's all coming together, this playoff bracket. Sunday night football. Well, it's not really Sunday. It's Sunday at 6:40 p.m. It's Brady versus Breeze for a third time. Interesting. Is it bad that we're still in the hunt for February football, but I'm already looking forward to the new uniforms this offseason? I don't know. I can't fault anybody that wants new uniforms because I know that they're going to have another set. I think that's going to incorporate black, if you ask me. I do think there's going to be black. I'm hoping it's all soul. I hope it's all yellow. I'm a big fan of the color rush. I called it Team Banana when they beat the Bucks, and I think they used it against the Ravens, so I know a lot of people never wanted to use it again, but they were undefeated in that, and I wouldn't mind it back. I have a feeling McVay will go with Wolford. Uniforms and colors are garbage. Logo, all trash. I don't know. I disagree. I like the logo, like the uniforms, but I respect your opinion. It starts at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Absolutely. Rapp is great, but we have depth. No need to rush him back. Wondering if they trade him or somebody else in that room. I like Taylor Rapp, but I don't love Taylor Rapp. When they drafted him over DK Metcalf, I was furious. And the Rams at the time didn't even need DK Metcalf, but I just knew he was special. I knew, if they didn't get him, the 49ers, Seahawks, or Cardinals would. So I was really hoping they would draft him. I didn't like the Rapp pick. And yeah, I agree with you. Somebody that's not getting enough credit, Nick Scott. You guys saw that PD. You guys saw that pass breakup. Like the final play of the game, one of the final plays of the game. That was huge. That was awesome. That was disciplined. Nick Scott is very underrated. I'm very impressed with him. The way Fuller's played this year, John Johnson III, and then they have Burgess coming back next year with Rapp. They're loaded. I mean, obviously, will they bring back Johnson? That's the question. I don't know if they can afford to bring back John Johnson, but I know he means so much to this defense where they're going to try. Let's see. Now I'm looking forward to the new unis, but I'm kind of afraid. In my opinion, if Wolford didn't get injured, that would have been blown Seattle out by so much more. I do think the game's different, Javier. If Wolford doesn't get hurt, I think the Rams win by more. I agree with that. Keep the ball away from Aaron Rodgers. I trust his defense, but you can't give A-Rod too many opportunities to figure out this defense. Yeah, and it's not really even figuring out days. What I think it is you're just keeping Rodgers off the field. Because Rodgers figures out everybody. I mean, Rodgers is very brilliant. So, no, I agree with you. You got to control the clock. You can't sustain the long drives that, a Sean McVay football team wants to sustain. And I think this defense will carry you. We are going against Green Bay. I had high hopes for this game. Just this presence, his ability to run, makes the offense so much better. Wish we could have seen a few Wolford drives. Same here. That really pissed me off when he got hit. Goff played turnover-free football. That's all you can ask for at this point. Yeah, I mean, if Goff doesn't turn the ball over, I think they can beat anybody. I think they beat anybody. I'm not even going to say I think they can. I think the Rams beat anybody if there's no turnovers. Case in point. Let's see here. Trying to go... There's so many comments. I love you guys so much. I can't even stress it enough. Like, this is just awesome. 90 people are watching me right now. 90 of you are watching me on a Sunday. a work day, a school day, what have you, and I gave you no notice ahead of time I was even going to do this. Just really impressed. I'm very impressed. Okay, Wolford scored less than 10 people hyping him up too much. It's definitely Goff game to play. I mean, I don't think people are hyping Wolford up too much. I mean, I don't know if you saw my video, but John Wolford has it. They have two starting quarterbacks, Wolford and Goff. Wolford offers more as a mobile quarterback, which is connected more to today's game. But Jared Goff is a traditional pocket passer that is starting to get a little bit better. I thought he had some nifty moves in the pocket, moved up, made some solid plays, and didn't turn the ball over. At the end of the day, they're not wrong for starting either of these guys because I mean they're both starting quality quarterbacks. Let's see. In what ways the Rams outgun the Packers? Well, I don't think the Rams are going to outgun the Packers. I just don't know if John Wolford or Jared Goff can outgun Aaron Rodgers. But I think the Rams' defense can steal some possessions away, maybe get win the field possession battle and steal the game. I don't want to call it a steal because even though they're 10-6, they should be like 12-4 or 13-3. They had some bad breaks, and it really cost them. I'm not scared of Green Bay. I'm scared of the weather. Name the last time the Rams won in cold weather. I mean, I remember the Giants game. That was 2017. I don't know. It's a good question. When is the last time the Rams won cold weather? Oh, let's see. I'm getting tired over here. Seattle was cold. Yeah, Seattle's cold. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but both teams have to deal with the cold. They'll be fine in that regard. Seattle was not Green Bay. Wisconsin cold straight up. Go Rams. We should use Everett and Higbee at fullback position like we did versus the Patriots to run the ball. That's actually, I like that. Is there any way for me to... Okay. I like that comment. I'm pinning it because I think that's a great way to game plan. The way the Rams attack the Patriots might be the best way to attack Green Bay. Green Bay's secondary is really good. They can give up some yards. I mean, Dalvin Cook ran all over them. They've given up yards throughout the year. So I agree with that. I think they should go heavy and really just try to run, just try power football. Last time they did that, Akers had nearly 200 yards of total offense. So I agree with you there. I think that's a really good, Kadorat Eli or Kadarat Eli. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but I just want to let you know your comment's getting pinned, and I agree with you 100%. Mike Malik, Hecker should start at quarterback. Noah Cooper, Akers, barely any catches and 44 yards. We should really start feeding him with checkdowns to act as a blanket for Goff. I agree with that. Numbers don't lie. Also agree with that. Lead in scoring defense. Also agree with that. Besides the obvious, who should Rams be worried about from the Packers? Well, besides the obvious of Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Aaron Jones, I would say if they get the second round pick they have, A.J. Dillon going, I mean, he could be a problem. He is a 250, 6'3" running back. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Steven Jackson. He's not the same, but similar. They also have Jamal Williams, who I think is somebody that has to be accounted for. You have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who can really take the top off of defense. You have Robert Tonyan, who could be a mismatch. He's really having a great year at tight end. And then you have guys like Equanimeous St. Brown, Alan Lazard, who names that maybe Rams fans don't know, or maybe they do. But at the end of the day, they can really make you pay. So, those are guys on the offensive side. The defensive side, if Raven Green plays in the secondary, Dimebacker, I think he's a solid player that you need to watch out for. Jair Alexander is a superstar, one of the best corners in all of football. Kevin King, Josh Jackson, Adrian Amos. And we'll see about the linebackers. Kamal Martin is probably going to play. Oren Burks. So the linebackers aren't super special, and I think once you get to the second level, the linebackers allow you where if you get past that first level, you can get to the second level, and that's why I really like Akers and running power football in this game for sure. Let's see here. Green Bay always folds in the playoffs. We need a deep threat. Goff is growing up now. Yo, what's good, Jake? What's up, Max? How we doing? What do you think about Adams versus Ramsey? That's going to be an awesome battle. I can't wait. Who you got? Who y'all got? Browns, Steelers. I have the Steelers. I think Big Ben versus Baker. I like Big Ben. Steelers have a way better defense than the Browns. It's going on right now, and 85 of you are watching me while the game's going on. Love it. Apparently, Cleveland already is on the board. Marcus Pouncey fumbles, recovered by Carl Joseph, touchdown. Browns. Okay, so it's 7-0. Game just started. What an awful way to start a game for the Steelers. I still think the Steelers win. That's just me. I hope so. I'm going to have nightmares about this upcoming game. This Packers game scares me. It should. I mean, it absolutely should. Was Whitworth return a major factor in Akers' good performance? Great question, Don. But, surprisingly, Akers' best runs really came to the right side. At least what I saw on the, on the actual the game. Now, I haven't gone back and watched the film yet, and I'm really excited to. And I might just do live because this is just amazing. It's just amazing participation. I'm really blown away, and it means a lot to you guys, to me that you guys are on here this late. I know it's 8:20. That may not seem that late, but I'm here at the office and studio, what have you. And I wanted to test our Ethernet. I wanted to do all that, and this is just beyond. I'm just really thankful, honestly. Really appreciate you guys. Reader is slow. Ain't gonna lie. Reader isn't going to be an all-world linebacker, but Reader actually has solid game speed. He's just not like your Devin Bush type of linebacker. Let's see. Who do you got, Browns or Steelers? Explain why. Yeah, Jonah, like I was saying, I have the Steelers. I just think, at the end of the day, the Steelers have a better defense. Big Ben, if it goes down to the wire where it's Big Ben versus Baker, I think Big Ben, I'll take his experience. As Baker's first ever playoff game. Their head coach isn't even in attendance because of COVID. I don't know. I just feel like the Steelers are loaded, and they got off to a rough start. But what I want to point out with the Steelers is that, keep in mind, they were forced to take a bye week 4. That was not their scheduled bye week. So because of that, they've been playing nonstop, and they're tired, and you saw that. So I think going into the playoffs, obviously they're still probably a little tired, but they were able to give some of those guys a rest in week 17, which ultimately led to them playing the Browns. Because if they played their team, I don't know if the Browns win that game, to be honest with you. They barely beat a team, with Mason Rudolph. So that's kind of my thoughts on the Steelers for sure. If both are healthy, which quarterback is starting? Sorry if you already answered that. Yeah, Max, I think it's Goff. I really do. And I think I would go with Goff. The head is saying Goff. The heart is saying Wolford. Either way, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think either of them. At the end of the day, the Rams are going to beat the Packers by stopping Aaron Rodgers. I think the offense, obviously you want to run, I think power football, you want to power it with Akers. You want to run these long drives. Play what the Bears were playing today. It obviously blew up in their face because they were so undisciplined and they couldn't score. But if you play the game the Bears played today, how they were basically just eating the clock. It was tied, 7-3 at halftime? Ends up being a 21-9 ball game, I believe. But it's 7-3 at halftime. That's exactly what the Bears wanted. They just couldn't capitalize. If the Rams have 7-3 at halftime and they're up on Green Bay, I think the game's over personally, but that's just me. Let's see here. Browns, they had a burner to take the top off. Never hit Sammy Watkins, but it works to clear the middle of the field so Kupp and Woods can eat. That passing game is compressed. No, I agree with that. I think that's fair. I think if Jalen Ramsey can shut down Adams, we can own the Packers. I think that's fair too. Status on Henderson. Henderson is at least out until NFC title game if the Rams make it. Whoever the Rams play, they play great. Just got to shut their running back down, and Adams, we can win. Don't give Rodgers time. What is the word on our defensive coach being poached? Was it Giants after him? Right now, there's a lot of teams after Brandon Staley, and rightfully so. Guy's first ever year as a defensive coordinator takes a team that, I don't remember the last time they had a number 1 defense, but he took them to the number 1 defense. It's not arguable. So there's a lot of teams. I know the Falcons. I was just on a Falcons show today. Falcons podcast, and they were talking about it. I don't know. I think Brandon Staley, at the end of the day, he's going to get a job, and unfortunately, it's a matter of if he wants it or not. If he doesn't want it, then yeah, the Rams are golden. But I think he's going to want it. Then again, there's people that say he's, a year or two away. I don't know. If Adams doesn't have a big game, we win. You could be right there, but what if Lazard goes off for 100 yards? I mean, 100 plus. I don't know. It's weird. You can't really. There's no definite. Wow, guys, this is just. I have so many comments. I'm trying to follow them all, and I'm just getting so behind, so I apologize. Let's see here. I cannot find... You guys are so awesome, I can't. Oh, boy. We have Jared Goff in the chat. Okay, here we go. We're back. Sorry, YouTube keeps updating the comments and pushing them all down. It's ridiculous. But anyway. So let's say Wolford is 100% and Goff's still swollen. Would you take Wolford due to the cold? I just find it scary to have an injury play in the cold. Yeah, I mean, if Goff is like he was in Seattle, then yeah, I'm going with Wolford. But I'm expecting Goff to have some sort of recovery in between then. Not super big, but I mean, instead of playing at 65 to 70%, maybe he's playing at 85 to 90, and I think that's good enough. Packers-Rams, what is your take on that game? Yeah, I mean, I said earlier, if in case you missed it, Packers-Rams, I look at the two as really the Packers have an opportunity to score as many points as they want if the Rams defense can't step up. I just really feel like the Rams defense is good enough to really shut down Green Bay's offense. And if they do that, I think they win the game. I think it's that simple. But they obviously have to take care of the football. If there's no turnovers, defense shuts them down. I don't see how Green Bay wins. Do you know if coffee is good for you? That's a question. I don't drink coffee. I haven't had it since March of 2020. I stopped right during the pandemic. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on coffee. Love the Color Rush unis. Yeah, absolutely, Eric. Should do retro 90s white top and the blue. Yes, I definitely agree with you. They should do that. That's where they won the Super Bowl in. So Jared Goff says, I think we should use our Ram head logo instead of the LA one. Oh, I'm giving you the thumbs down on that one, buddy. I respect your opinion, but I cannot stand the Rams head logo. I'm all about this one right here. Anyway, get rid of the goat horns. How much has Rodgers been sacked? How much has Rodgers been sacked? That's a great question. Let me see if I can find that out for you. Aaron Rodgers stats. So unprofessional for me to look it up right on the fly, but is what it is. All right, where are we at? 2020, he has been sacked 20 times this year, which is the fewest in a 16-game season that he started, and he started majority of his seasons have been 16-game seasons. So if that tells you anything, only 20 is very impressive. That offensive line, though, keep this in mind. That offensive line lost David Bakhtiari, who is the best left tackle in football. Maybe. He's very good. It's either him or Whitworth. So keep that in mind. The only team left that has a left tackle. Well, actually, this is interesting. So let's see. Packers don't. They don't have their starting left tackle. The Rams do. The Saints do, I want to say, with Teron Armstead. Buccaneers do. And Donovan Smith. And I want to say on the AFC side of the ball, the Ravens lost Ronnie Stanley for the year, so they don't have their left tackle. The Steelers have Alejandro Villanueva. The Browns, they have... I don't even know who the Browns left tackle is. I mean, I do know that... Let's see here. Oh, it's Jedrick Wills. Duh. They just drafted him. And then the Bills have their left tackle. Yeah, I mean, everybody has their left tackle except for Green Bay and Baltimore. But that's definitely something to keep in mind. That's an interesting thing. I don't know if people know that. Bakhtiari's out here, so get rid of the goat horns. What is your early take on Packers Rams? Green Bay is cold. Goff is very slow at delivering the ball. Good news is that I see more kids in LA area wearing the new blue unis. Next generation of fans is coming. That's a great point, Eric. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I think they really wanted to reach out to the next generation of kids. And by the way, this is how you market your team, guys. The Rams. So they didn't make the playoffs last year, but they weren't at SoFi. So this year, they make the playoffs and they have an opportunity. Now they're still in the hunt, for a Super Bowl, and that's how you get a young generation of fans going. They're going for the Tri-City, the Tri-LA championship run because the Lakers won, the Dodgers won. We'll see if the Rams can win. Let's see. Wolford was moving the ball amazingly. If he starts, it's over. We might be holding the Lombardi. I wouldn't say it's over. I'm definitely a big fan of Wolford. Big fan of Wolford. But I wouldn't say it's guaranteed that the Rams win the Super Bowl if he starts. Is it the first time A-Rod is going to play against the GOAT Ramsey? That's another great question. That, I might have to look that up. Let me see here. Let's see if we can find a game log of all of his games. And I'll tell you what Aaron Rodgers has done when he's played Ramsey. Because on this show, I like to have the facts. I like to have everything out. So, let's see here. Ramsey. Okay, so he's played against Jacksonville, I want to say 4 times. And Ramsey was a 2016 pick, I want to say. So if Ramsey was in the same draft as Goff, I believe. So if that's the case, then Aaron Rodgers played Ramsey once. Aaron Rodgers played Ramsey the first game of his career, I want to say. Let me see here. Ramsey. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers played Jalen Ramsey once, and it was Jalen Ramsey's first game of his career. He had to go up against Aaron Rodgers. He had 3 tackles, 2 solo, and a quarterback hit. And let's see, the receivers. Top receiver for Green Bay was 57 yards out of Randall Cobb on 6 catches. 3 catches from Devontae Adams for 50 yards, a touchdown. And Jordy Nelson had 6 catches for 32 yards, as well as Richard Rodgers catching a pass for 22 yards. So I hope that answered your question. He did go up against Ramsey. It was his first game of his career, and that game, actually, now that I think about it, they barely won. Gus Bradley's Jacksonville Jaguars that year. They went to Lambeau, and oh, sorry, that was Everbank. Okay, never mind. They went to Jacksonville, and Green Bay beat Jacksonville 27-23. So Ramsey's only played Rodgers once. Okay. Glad we got that out of the way. Let's see. Unbiased, what do you make on the hit on Wolford? Yeah, Tristan, I've said it a few times throughout this. I just think the Wolford hit was a penalty. I wouldn't kick him out of the game because it was shoulder to the helmet, but to throw a penalty and then pick it up, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Is it going to be snowing in Green Bay? It's hard to tell because I can look at the report. We're going all out here. Go all out for you guys. You know that. Let's see. Green Bay weather report. Weather forecast. Probably a good one. Okay, let's see what we got in Green Bay, right? They already have next Saturday. So they have next Saturday here. It's 25 degrees, partly cloudy. 10% participation, 75% humidity, wind is 9 miles per hour. It's not an awful. That's not an awful day. I mean, that's like here in New York right now. So it's not horrible. So it won't be snowing. To answer your question, Abe. Wolford is only 5'5". No, Wolford's 6'1". He's not 5'5", despite what people think. No snow. The offensive line has to keep Goff clean for him to play mistake-free football. It's better than homework. Thanks, Noah. But really cold. Yeah, I mean it's below freezing, so yeah, it's gonna be cold. When will Goff get screws out? That's a great question. I don't know if they'll mess with the pins until after the year, but we'll see. Green Bay O-line is banged up. Do you agree that Jared Goff has an amazing arm, but he just gets nervous and is inconsistent? Jared Goff has a very good arm. It's definitely above average, above league average. He has the arm talent. I want to see him use more of his wrist. So I want to see him get, work on his wrist in the offseason, get that wrist action. You'll see with Rodgers, it's not a big, long delivery or anything like that. It's more like he flicks it. So I want to see more of that out of Goff. If he works out in that in the offseason, he has a chance to be really, really good if he just, flick. I mean, obviously not that. I'm just trying to show you in the camera. Let's see here. I hope the defense doesn't play like they did versus the Bills. That was a little bit of a weird game. I truly don't think anybody knew how to stop Brian Dable's Bills. I just don't. But that game was definitely very interesting, I will say. Let's see here. I'm trying to follow this. Yeah, I agree. I think Aaron Donald, if he had to, he would have come back. Like if that game went to overtime, I think Aaron Donald comes back in. Seattle was 50 degrees. Green Bay is at 17 degrees. Big difference. Yeah, Denise, I'm seeing. In case you missed it, I don't know if you did or not. And I'm also probably behind the comments. I had 25 degrees for Saturday's forecast, so that'll be fun. We got them. Green Bay has the 10th ranked defense. Everett as a fullback would be amazing. If the Rams trade Goff, they should check in on Luck and see if he wants to come back and play. Well, the problem with that, AM, and I like where your head's at, Andrew Luck I don't think is going to come back to play. But if he does, the Colts still have his rights. So he's on the reserve retired list for the Colts. So he would go to the Colts. The Rams wouldn't be able to sign him. If Goff starts, do you think that is an injury will be a factor in the cold weather? I mean, it has to be, right? It's just he said there's not really pain. There's just it's kind of uncomfortable. I mean, he's got pins in his thumb. So, yeah, I mean, I'd have to imagine, it would definitely – the cold is going to affect that for sure. Let's see. I would say put Aaron Donald at running back. Henderson should be eligible to come back. Yes. Yes, Denise, I'm seeing Henderson likely eligible to come back. NFC – well, no, it's not likely. He's eligible to come back if everything goes according to plan, the NFC title game, if they make it. Let's see – no, Martin, it's 4:45 Eastern time. It's, it's 4:45 Eastern time. It would be 3:45 Central time and 1:45 Rams time, which is LA time, which is California time, which is West Coast time. I don't see Green Bay scoring more than 20 points. Yeah, right now I'm at 23-14, and I kind of feel like the Rams would win, but I'm not going to go too much into that. Can the Browns beat the A-Wers tonight? Can the Browns win tonight? I mean, let's see. What's the score right now? 14-0 Browns. What the hell's going on? Okay. Well, Steelers are going to have to try and come back in this one because this isn't looking good. I still don't think it's over. Rams play best in the second half. Yeah, Rams make great adjustments in the second half, Denise. You're absolutely right. Hope Henderson comes back too. Yeah, absolutely. Rams at Broncos in 2018 was pretty cold. Also, last time JG wore gloves the entire game, he also wore gloves this year versus Washington football team. When it rained, it's cold, broken thumb, too many fumbles, gloves, IMO. Yeah, you know what? Henry, I like that. I didn't remember all of that, so I appreciate you bringing that up. And you know what? You can go with gloves. I'm not going to hate it. Let's see. Adams will do more damage than DK. I don't know. DK just had 2 touchdowns. They did a nice job, though, bottling him up. I think, those don't really tell the full story. But, yeah, Adams is a special talent. I think he might be the best receiver in football now. We are playing the Packers next week. Oh, my God. Hope we win, bruh. Same here, Among Us Gamer. Brown scored off bad snap. Go figure. Gotta love the bad snap. I can't wait to see how that's on Ben Roethlisberger. We need Ramsey the whole game, on Adams the whole game. I agree. Do a live. How do you feel about Ramsey's performance? Ramsey was great. The secondary was great. Darius Williams was great. I really cannot wait to dig into the tape, and we will do that. We will absolutely do that. So looking forward to that. If our offense could actually do something, then we were good. Hope we get Donald back, though. As long as we get pressure with our front 4, we will be good, as they just lost their stud left tackle, so that should help too. Yeah, Bakhtiari's out. I'm going to have a heck of a game, Darius Williams. He could. I believe discovering Wolford is a blessing in disguise. Now teams have to think about a mobile quarterback. When we play golf, they are looking for short plays because of his thumb. True. Very true. Hey, just share the Return of the Jedi on our Rams Facebook group page. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading. It's my fault. Facebook group page. You should join. It's LA Rams group, over 7K members. I'm probably in it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I can definitely share that. Also, Goff now can make trick plays because of everybody thinking he has to throw short because of his thumb. That's also true. Coach McVay will go with the healthy quarterbacks. Both are injured. Oh, wow. I was just thinking I caught up to all these comments, and then a flood of them came in. I really want to answer everyone's, but at some point I'm going to have to go. Let's see. Coach McVay will go with healthy quarterback. Both are injured. I want the Rams to beat the Packers, then have to beat the Saints, and at that point we would beat the NFC West, South, and North champs, making us true NFC champs, deserve the Super Bowl. Interesting. Thank you, Jalen Ramsey. I appreciate you giving me the nice hat compliment. What's up, man? How's it going, Dan? The thing that scares me is that my brother is a Saints fan, so hope Buccaneers win. Browns are playing good, going to watch game, BRB. I'm actually okay with this game, even if Goff and Wolford are injured. Blake Bortles has playoff experience. I wouldn't say I'm okay with Blake Bortles starting, but I hear you. We have a better shot at winning versus Buccaneers than the Saints. What did I miss? Joey, what did you miss? You missed a lot, my man. I've been streaming for 74 minutes, it looks like. Damn. Time flies when you're having fun, am I right? We're going to lock up them cheeseheads. If 80 is good to go, our defense will go after Rodgers even more. Let's see. Aaron Donald for fullback. 80's x-rays came back negative. Hopefully he's good to go. Go Rams. Hopefully not a lot of snow. Doesn't look like there's going to be any snow, Joey, from what I can see. Kareem Hunt, touchdowns, 21 Browns. Steelers have 0. Wow. That is brutal. Let's see. It's the best D versus the best offense. I mean, I take defense when it's cold. Yeah, Quinn, that's a great point. It is probably the best offense and best defense. No, that's a great point. Jake the Goat, appreciate all the content and the grind, my guy. Thanks for responding. Absolutely, Days. Really appreciate that. Appreciate you guys. It's just, this isn't why I do it. I don't do it for, to be popular or anything like that. I really just started this channel because people have been asking me all the time, like, why don't you do more video, man? Like, you go on Facebook Live and, like, your feed pops up. But Facebook Live, I'll say this. I really appreciate everyone on Facebook Live. But, like, I went on YouTube with literally absolutely no promotion. And I did this basically to test out my Ethernet cable. And you guys, at one point, I think we had 90 watching at one point. 90 people. during the middle of this game. It's just so impressive, and I'm so so thankful for that. So I really do appreciate that. I just want you guys to know, if I haven't made it obvious. Now it's gonna get annoying, so I'll probably stop. But weather conditions in Green Bay, yeah, Troy. The weather conditions look like it's gonna be partly cloudy, 23 degrees. Obviously, weather can change, but that's what they're expecting right now. No snow. Aaron Donald as a fullback might be such a genius move by McVay. Probably at the goal line. I would use Aaron Donald at the goal line. If you need a touchdown on like a fourth down, I would absolutely have him run the football. The Heads logo looks like a Pong. I don't even know. Rams head logo. Gotcha. Okay. Bakhtiari, or however you say it, it's out though. Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Old logo is preferable. The Rams' best defense in the NFL. Touchdown Steelers. Are you trying to get me, Lionel? Because I'm not seeing a touchdown Steelers. This is what I'm seeing. If you could even read that. I'm waiting to see if you can read it. 21-0. That's not going to focus, but it is what it is. Okay. So, all right. Rams' best defense in the NFL. Touchdown Steelers, which didn't happen. Left tackle's done for the year. How do I donate? Marco, that I really appreciate that. If you want to donate, I mean, you don't have to, but I'll never beg. But if you really do want to help me out and donate, I have to find my Patreon because I don't even remember the login. But yeah, I mean, honestly, here's what I'll say. Okay, how about instead of donating, if you want to do that, why don't you check out our merch? We have I'll post it here. That's what I'll do. We'll go to. We have a merch site for Downtown Rams. I don't have merch for me yet. If you guys want my logo on a t-shirt, let me know and I'll do it. But I don't have that yet. I haven't really thought of that. But I will drop the... Grabbing the link now. Trying to multitask. Apologies. So, bear with me one sec as this loads. And then we'll do this. And here it is. It's not a lot, actually. Yeah, it's not a lot, but this is what we have right now on the Downtown Rams merch site. So that just was posted. Appreciate you, Marco. Let's see. We going to own the Packers. Let's go Rams. Our ends should be able to feast off the left side now that Bakhtiari's out. I agree with you there. How do you think the Rams would do against the Chiefs if we met them this year in the Super Bowl? I think the Rams' defense would beat the Chiefs' offense. I don't think the Chiefs scare me. They haven't really dominated as much as people talk about them dominating, and their defense can't stop anybody running. So, Casimir Lucky says Rams cheated. No one cheated on the Rams. Nobody cheated. They won that game. All right, I'm giving too much to that. Gaming with Deezy. Rams all the way. Leonard Floyd knows the Packers offense more than anything. Jake playing with the Bears all those years. He could be the X factor. Great point, Mark. That is a great point. And you know what's even better about the point you brought up? Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley went up against his offense. Now, it wasn't the same offense. It was not. But you could say he went up against the Packers. You could say he went up against Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. I don't know. Interesting. That's a good point. Definitely a good point. Finally, some salty fan Casimir. Yeah, there's going to be salty fans, but, is what it is. That new stadium looks beautiful. Yeah, it definitely does. I can't wait to go to it. Is it a foregone conclusion that Floyd will be gone? What should the Rams do when he leaves? It's not a foregone conclusion. I do think they would want him back. It really depends. I mean, I think they might draft a guy. They also have Terrell Lewis, who they drafted. So, we'll see. Ramsey over anybody. Well, we have him now, so that's a plus. Rams 24, Bills 21 Super Bowl. That'd be interesting. Oh, how the hell did the Rams cheat? Personally, I think Green Bay is going to struggle with a lot of people overlooking that McVay put LaFleur on the map, and what tends to travel well is a strong running game and elite defensive play. That's also a great point, is that Sean McVay has worked with Matt LaFleur. So, yeah, he's going to have that familiarity with what he does. We have the advantage there. Star LT is out. Our front four is dominant. Packers defense has struggled against the run, against playoff teams, with the Vikings being the... Why does it do that? Okay. Vikings being the exception. Yeah, Mark, someone said Steelers scored. I don't know. That didn't happen. I like Goff, but if we talk another quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson. For some reason, I want to see a Rams-Ravens Super Bowl. That'd be cool. I don't know if I want to see the Ravens again after what they did to us last year. Packers' run defense is weak. It's going to be the Cam show. Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be. They've gotten a little bit better, though. Rams more physical. They can capitalize ECW. Hey, Rams fan here. New sub. Ramsey owns DK Soul. If Rams go into Green Bay with this defense and try to play mistake-free football, I can see us upset. I agree. Clash, you know me, by the way. I'm JK Bogan on... JK Bogan DTSN is my my channel... Or not my channel, what am I saying? My page on Twitter. I've interacted with you plenty, man. You're a friend of mine. I know who you are, Clash. Did you see the Seahawks play Punch Hudgens? I don't know who that is. 21-0 Brownies. Plus, I believe Aaron is not as mobile as Wilson. It will only give our D linemen more time to work. Appreciate you. Beat Seattle with a rusty thumb. Sorry, I meant to put Brownies. Who does anyone think will start at quarterback? What the point of watching the game? Pittsburgh versus the Browns. We don't. How much our defense do you think we will bring back next year? We got this. I feel Goff will bounce back and maybe even have a good next season. If he plays bad, I see us drafting or keeping Wolford. If possible, I would get a first-round pick and draft Trey Lance. I love Trey Lance. Rams house. Do you think the Rams will win against Green Bay? I think they have a shot. I won't say 100% if I think they can, if they win or not. Well, it's hard to skip the Rams, E-Dub, when, all my subs are asking me to talk about the Rams, but I'll talk about whatever anybody wants in these comments. I'm addressing all of them. So I know it doesn't get a lot of press, but Rams have to go in this offseason looking at better options on the O-line. We need some studs. Right now we have average players, average pass, run, blocking. I don't know. I think they're a top 10 offensive line in football, to be honest with you. I think a lot of offensive lines are feeling the effects of a really limited offseason. I will just leave it at that. I think that is something that isn't being talked about enough. Do you think Andy will retire after this season? Andrew Witt, I don't know, Big Nate, to be honest with you. I kind of feel like if they win the Super Bowl, he would retire, and if they don't, he'd try to go after it again, but who knows. I love how, as Rams fans, we literally fear no one at all. Only the elements will intimidate us. It feels good. We've come so far. Yeah, got that right. If Staley is gone next season, who do you picture the D next year? I'm going to just say wherever he goes, he can't replicate AD and Jalen play. I think if Staley goes, he's going to either the Jets or the Falcons. It's kind of where I'm at right now. I think they both offer something. If he goes to Houston, I think that's a bad decision. But it's now 28-0 Browns. Oh my God. Ugh, that's not good. Wanted to see that game be competitive, and I actually had the Steelers winning. I wanted to go 6-0 on Wild Card Weekend. Plus, I feel for my cousin because he's a Steelers fan. Does Steelers show and everything. That's a bummer. If Staley is gone, okay, I already said that. Go Pack, go. We'll be waiting next weekend. Adrian, I respect the Packers, so I'm not gonna trash them or anything. I'm really looking forward to that game though, 100%. Go Hawks. Floyd is under contract for next season. No, he's not. Unfortunately, those were dummy years on his contract to make the numbers work, but it's only a 1-year deal for $10 million. He did get that roster bonus due to his sack at the end of the year, which, let's be honest, the Rams probably would have given it to him anyway. I wonder if we are going to bring Reynolds back. I would say Reynolds is gone, personally. Will Kupp be back? Yes, Cooper Kupp will be back. We need a new starting. Yeah, go Rams. Captain Sim. Will he be back? The Packers are going to have a hard time against their defense like he did in 2018. Oh, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he had a hard time. That game was just a very, tough as nails game. I felt like the Packers were going to win that game. That game felt like a typical Rams loss where they have no hope, and then at the end somehow they try to muster something, it doesn't work. But that was a fun game. Being at that game was special, and then seeing Andrew Whitworth and Aaron Rodgers after the game was pretty cool too. Let's see here. I went to the Ravens game last year. If that's Super Bowl, I'll have more PTSD. I don't blame you, Quinn. I would not want that Super Bowl. The Ravens are like the scariest team right now. People just aren't talking about it. They're absolutely terrifying. Kansas City better be ready. Let's see. I went to Ravens game. Okay. No Reynolds coming back for sure. I think Malcolm Brown is off the books as well. He is off the books. We need a new starting quarterback. Browns 28, Steelers 0. Browns up 28 zip. Where do you want to see A-Rob go to this offseason? I mean, I'd like to see him go to the Packers after, he turned them down and went to the Bears. I'd like to see him go to Tennessee maybe. I'd like to see him go to the Jets. If Brandon Staley does go to the Jets, I'd like to see them have some success. It'd be interesting to see him replace Julio Jones in Atlanta, and then maybe they trade Julio Jones. I don't know. There's some good options for, A-Rob for sure. Allen Robinson. I assume that's who you're talking about. Is Henderson going to be able to play? NFC Championship game, he would be eligible. Yes. We were moving with the Wolf. Let's start him again. Rams house. Will Cam Akers be back? Let's see. The Ram versus the Browns Super Bowl. Is 80-99 okay? He is okay. Any hope for Minshew and Horns? There's always hope. I would not count that out. All these guys are free agents this offseason. Floyd, Blythe, Brown, Hill, Everett, Fox, Reynolds, Ebukam, Darius Williams. Darius Williams is going to get tendered, so he's good. He's a restricted free agent. I believe he's an exclusive rights free agent. Fox will likely come back. Reynolds is gone. Floyd might come back. Blythe might come back. Brown might come back. Hill might. I think Everett might. Ebukam, I think Ebukam and Reynolds are gone, but Ebukam did have a really, really nice play in that game that really sealed the deal on special teams. Should the Rams draft a power running back for the short yard situations like Brown later in the draft? I wouldn't say so. I think they're good at running back. There's a guy that you didn't get an opportunity to see in Xavier Jones out of SMU. Very good, running back, very solid pad level, good balance. He's somebody I look forward to seeing in the future. Hello, man. Much love from France. Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate it. I'm wondering if they are going to trade Malcolm. I don't think so. Who do you think we will bring back? I did just answer your question without even realizing it. Pretty much everyone except for Reynolds and Ebukam I think they could bring back. I love Cooper Kupp, and nobody gives Robert Woods or Tyler Higbee the credit they deserve. I wouldn't say nobody, Big Nate, but I see what you're saying. I feel like Tyler Higbee is just being held back by the fact Jared Goff really hasn't thrown to him as much as he did last year. So I'm a really big fan of Higbee, and there's a reason why he was signed, long term. I'd say if Goff plays well, we can and should go to the Super Bowl. Defense is solid enough. This defense is more than solid, my man. What is your take on Deshaun Robinson A'Shawn Robinson, has he made a real difference this year? Well, Steve, it's a great question. A'Shawn Robinson, at the end of the day, had to miss the first 12 or so games of the season, so he's now in football shape, and I think he's playing a lot better as of late. Obviously, they expected him to be a legit contributor this year, and unfortunately, with everything going on, I think he had a heart condition or something along those lines where he wasn't up to speed. I think next year you'll see a really good A'Shawn Robinson who's on a 2-year deal. So I think A'Shawn Robinson's gonna have a better year next year when he has a full year. But he's starting to feel it. I thought he had a good game in the playoffs, and he had a good game week 17. So I'm excited for him. Bryson Hopkins greater than Gerald Everett. I mean, it's hard to say because Gerald Everett's actually playing, but I'm a big fan of Bryson Hopkins. It's it's not hidden. A lot of people know that know me. I met with Bryson at the Senior Bowl. I asked him if he met with the Rams. His face lit up like a Christmas tree, basically saying how they were talking to him about the potential of teaming him up with Tyler Higbee as a tandem. So I would not be surprised if that's the route they go and if they move on from Everett. I really like Bryson, though. 4th-round pick, who's my number 1 tight end in the draft. Ibukam is a good special team right now. He's far from the level of the Super Bowl season. Yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl season as well, Lucas, he didn't have a great Super Bowl season. What ended up happening is that he had that really huge game against the Chiefs. And, basically all that did was it padded his stats. But aside from that monster game against the Chiefs, he really didn't have that great of a season. He's been kind of average to below average in his career. Let's see here. Oh, man, I'm going to have to call this a night because I'm getting tired over here. But for real, do you think if Goff plays bad, they trade him and get a first-round pick and get Trey Lance? I don't know if that's 100%. Dealing in absolutes like that is a little dangerous of a game. But I'm not going to say they couldn't do that. I don't think they're going to say, Goff, even though you have a mangled thumb, if you don't win this playoff game, you're done. I don't see them doing that, no. Let's see here. Do you think we can re-sign all our free agents? Lucas, that's a lot of free agents, so I don't know. I mean, could you potentially, but they're also way over the cap next year. So I don't know if that's the possibility of that is not likely. Since you're in New York, how do you even become a Rams fan? Great question, Lionel. So for those of you who are wondering how in God's green earth I'm a Rams fan living in upstate New York, I'll tell you this right now. My father grew up on the West Coast. He grew up in Irvine, California, and he was next door neighbors with Jim Youngblood, who was a starting inside linebacker for the Los Angeles Rams. And then he moved. My grandfather moved him to New York, and he followed the Rams ever since. Raised me to be a Rams fan, and here we are. I mean, it's been surreal because I've always been a diehard Rams fan. Even when they were with St. Louis, and it's just starting downtown Rams in 2016, and then having guys like Jim Everett and Leroy Irvin and Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, and Dick Vermeil, Tommy Polly, you name them. He's likely been on my show. Just to have them all on the Downtown Rams podcast, it's been very surreal. But I don't think anything will compare to when Leroy Irvin invited my father and I. And Leroy Irvin is somebody my dad was watching, in the 80s. And, Leroy Irvin ends up inviting my father and I to his birthday party, his 60th birthday party, and I believe it was 2017, 2018. I think it was 2017, I want to say. So just it's been incredible, to be honest with you, everything that's happened. So that's how I've been a Rams fan. That's how I became a Rams fan, and I can tell you, I remember the day Scott Covington was the starter for the Rams on Monday Night Football against the 49ers. I can tell you when Jeff Smoker was under center. I remember when Gus Frerotte threw 6 interceptions in a game. I remember the good and the bad, and I remember it vividly as well. So, it's been really cool. I'm a 25-year-old Rams fan, and I've been a Rams fan since I came out the womb. So that's my story on why a New Yorker like me is a Rams fan. I really don't like any New York teams except for the Yankees. My dad grew up a Yankees fan, so that. But aside from that, I mean, my teams accordingly, the Rams. I like a bunch of college teams, but I have true, actual family blood running through Lawrence, Kansas. So Kansas University is where I, gravitate towards. But you'll see my USC hoodie on, or I'll be wearing an Alabama shirt. I don't know. I just gravitate towards them. Like football, I like watching them. Obviously, I'm a Kansas fan first. I like the Rams, the Yankees, the Lakers, and then for the NHL, I was a Red Wings fan for years because I picked them because my favorite color was red, and I was like 4 years old. But when the Vegas Knights became a team, I decided to like the Golden Knights before they even drafted any players. I just thought it would be cool. I also kind of have a soft spot for the Edmonton Oilers, so I guess they'd be my second favorite team. So those are all my teams. But the Rams, they're number one. They're my favorite. Football's my favorite sport. I'd probably say, surprisingly, it might surprise people, but hockey's number 2 right now. I'm not as well informed in hockey. I feel like I'm more of a fan, whereas as you guys would attest to, I feel like I'm able to talk more ball and actually try to offer some insight when it comes to football. But hockey for me, I'm not on that level. I'm not on that level. I don't know if I ever will be. If I ever do a hockey video, feel free to drop a comment and say, stick to football, stick to basketball, stick to baseball. It's that simple. I shouldn't be doing any hockey videos. So if I do, I've gotten carried away, my head's gotten too big, and you just have to let me know. Let's see. Okay. If we win the Super Bowl, is there any way to increase the cap space? How is that driven? How can we get more cap space without trading our key players on both sides? Restructuring contracts, which converting bonus money, or converting salary cap money to bonus money, things along that nature. Cutting, releasing, trading. There are ways. You can manipulate the cap, and Les Snead's been doing it for years, so I'm not worried. They have a plan. They know what they're doing. Do you think losing Brandon Cooks had a negative effect on the offense earlier in the season? I think they got rid of Brandon Cooks because they saw Jared Goff's deep ball performance, his deep ball production go downhill. And so they didn't want to have this guy, getting paid $16 million per year when they know they have to pay, Robert Woods. They have to give him an extension. They have to pay Cooper Kupp. So I felt like that was the option there. That's what I've been told anyway. So they didn't lose him. They did trade him. I think, obviously, if you could have him for free in this offense, he would be huge. But yeah, I mean, the offense definitely would look better with Cooks, no doubt. He's very talented. They should play the rookie wide receiver more than Reynolds. I agree. I'm a big fan of Van Jefferson. Watched him a lot at the Senior Bowl. Very talented receiver for sure. Like the Star Wars cameos for Rams storyline in the Super Bowl. All right, this is your goal. All right, this is your job, folks. Drop below how on earth I can keep my Star Wars intros going, because I'm starting to, we can't say the rise of Skywalker. That doesn't make any sense. I guess that's the thing with the original trilogy. You had A New Hope, which it's not like just Star Wars, right? You can make something out of that. Empire Strikes Back, I associate A New Hope with Wolford, associated The Empire Striking Back as Seattle, and then I associated Return of the Jedi as, the return of Jared Goff. But unfortunately, the next movie, The Force Awakens, I mean, how would I incorporate what's going on with the Rams moving forward with The Force Awakens? How would I enforce, The Last Jedi? And how would I do The Rise of Skywalker? You know what I mean? Well, like the first 3 movies, The Phantom Menace, like who's the Phantom Menace? Who am I going to say? The Attack of the Clones? I mean, I don't know where I'm going to go with that. And then Revenge of the Sith? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know where I would go with that. Maybe if the Rams played Tampa, I could say Revenge of the Sith, where, it's Tom Brady. The Rams trying to get revenge on Tom Brady again, this time in the playoffs. I don't know. You guys let me know. I was thinking maybe Mandalorian. I do want to keep the Star Wars stuff somewhat acclimated because I am a huge Star Wars fan. I know a lot of people like it. So I do want to do something like that. It doesn't hurt because if you don't like Star Wars, you just skip the intro and you go into the video, so it's not a huge deal. But I'm thinking Mandalorian, getting that music in the background might be the way to go. I don't know. What do you think about Rams versus Green Bay? I think I've answered this like 6 or 7 times, but I'll tell you right now, Bryn, Rams have a shot against Green Bay. Rams defense has to stop Green Bay. Basically, run power football, power run. Just play old school football. Keep Rodgers on the sidelines. Keep your offense on the field. Move the football and keep your defense off the field. And at the end of the day, I think the Rams can win if they play that style. What your dad is, you are. Yeah, I mean, for the most part. But my dad really isn't. So the best is to let Ibukam go to get more space. Yeah, I mean, I guess, Lucas. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Ibukam's not signed next year, so it wouldn't really help the cap space. But yeah, Robert, what your dad is, you are. So my dad is a Rams fan. My dad is a Laker fan. My dad's a Yankee fan. And my dad's a Jayhawks fan. But anything like with hockey, like I've turned him into like, he likes Edmonton and he likes Vegas because I like them. But I don't think he really, like his hockey team, like the LA Kings, because he grew up a fan of them, and Marcel Dion was like his favorite player. But like he doesn't follow him the way, like he doesn't really follow hockey. He follows more of like, if you ever played FanDuel, like he plays a lot of FanDuel hockey. Of course, I also help him. So for the most part, he likes the teams that I like in the NHL. So let's see here. Yeah, Lionel, I know it's a lot there, but I'm a Rams fan from Tennessee, and my mom got a signed Youngblood helmet. That's awesome. Are you talking Jack or Jim Youngblood? Because that's pretty cool. If anybody could find Jim Youngblood, I'd love him to be on the podcast. So if you ever can link me to how to contact him, because it's like impossible, he's like a ghost, that'd be great. That's my dad's favorite player, wore number 53. Got him a 53 jersey for, I think, either his birthday, Christmas, or I want to say Father's Day, one of those things. And I got him that for a gift. He, like I said, Jim Youngblood's his favorite player. That's basically the reason why I'm a Rams fan. Rams fan for 25 years here. Same here, but, the priority of off-season will be re-sign Williams, Floyd, and Blythe. Yeah, we'll see, Lucas. I mean, there's a lot that has to be done this off-season for sure. Do you think we sign big names next season or the season after that? It depends. It really depends how this cap looks. I mean, we really don't know. Moving forward, I'm getting such a sore throat. I gotta lubricate here. I gotta get like water or something. We have nothing in the office yet. We're getting a mini fridge soon, so I'll have drinks so I don't die. What did you major in school? So Henry, I was a business major, and I actually dropped out of college. So I'm a college dropout, proud college dropout. Didn't work out for me. I know it works for a lot of people, but for me, I've just been grinding and. Ever since I dropped out of college, I started Downtown Rams. I've been doing all this. I have my own day job, so you don't worry about me. I make plenty to stay afloat, and I still live with my folks. Was gonna move out to LA, but I postponed that move indefinitely with COVID and everything. So decided to lease this office with my cousin and kind of go from there. I'm a fan of LA for a short time. I started supporting the Rams since I saw highlights of Rams Bucks in 2016. Hey, there you go, Lucas. I like it. Who are your prospects for the Rams in draft? Oh my lord, I have so many. What I'm going to tell you right now, because I'm going to cut this short before I lose my voice. Appreciate you guys. By prospects for the Rams, I will literally be doing breakdowns on all the prospects I possibly can for you guys. I'm going to beef this channel. You might get 2 videos during draft season. You might get 2 videos in your watch now list, or if you haven't already and you want to, be sure to subscribe. Obviously, I think most of you are subscribed. If you haven't already, do that. And if you want, you can hit that bell icon. Anytime I drop a video, it's going to hit you with a notification like Jake just dropped a video. So keep that in mind. Going to be doing a lot of tape breakdown. Going to do a breakdown of the game. I'm going to do a breakdown of all the draft prospects I can in the off season. We're going to have some fun on this channel, folks. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell whoever that I'm bringing Rams content, but I'm also bringing NFL content, and I'll bring other sport content as well. But I'm going to have a lot of draft content, so just keep that in mind. I have Alabama over Ohio State in the national title game. Big Nate, just to tell you. We're going on to Green Bay. What about Wolford? Like who you think will start? I think at the end of the day, I think Goff is going to start. If Wolford starts, though, it's not the end of the world. And, my heart wants Wolford. My head is saying Goff. But, guys, thank you. I am dead. My throat is dying. We've been on for 105 minutes. Um, I really, really appreciate you guys, if I haven't made that clear. So I'm going to keep doing this. You guys can follow me at JKBoganDTSN. So I'm going to put that right now in the chat. Everyone go give me a follow on Twitter. I will follow you right back. At JKBoganDTSN. We can talk all the sports you want. I'm going to pack up here, move my equipment back to my home, and I'll be doing videos periodically throughout the week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Love y'all. You guys take care, and we'll talk soon.